Okay, good afternoon class, right? Okay. So today just like extra class. Okay, extra class it's for you, to guide you to answer the SPM question. Okay. So because when I did a test with for M, right, so I can see, okay, can see some of you are not that good, okay, in answering the question. Some of you didn't understand the question. Okay, what's the question one? Okay, so this is actually just to help you. Okay, and I just want to tell you that next week we will not have a class, okay, because Hari Raya. We'll continue on the next, okay, 2 weeks on 22 May. Okay, so same time, 2 until 3. Okay, so I already give you the exercise, okay, yesterday, right? So today we will discuss. Okay, so actually all this exercise you already learned, okay, whether it's chapter 1 or chapter 2. And some of it you already learned in form 1. Okay, so we just do a revision. Okay, so number 1, right? So diagram 1 shows two type of thermometers, P and Q. Okay, so the left one is the infrared thermometer P and the right one is a digital thermometer Q. Right, so the question asks you, what is the physical quantity? So the first thing what you have to know, what is actually a physical quantity? So physical quantity is actually any quantity that you can measure. Okay, you can give a value to it. Okay, so like length, okay, you can measure the length and you can give the number. Right, so let's say the length of the table is 5 meter. So let's say, so you can give the value to the quantity. So any quantity that you can measure. So the physical quantity is actually, okay, the one that let's say the example temperature, right? Mass, length, okay, time, okay, current, right? Force, okay, momentum, right? So all that is a physical quantity. Because some of you are confusing. Some answer like unit, okay? Unit is, let's say, for the length. What is the unit for the length? Meter. So physical, that is not a physical quantity. That is a SI unit. Okay, so make sure you know the difference. Okay, so the physical quantity. What is the physical quantity that can be measured by the thermometer? Anyone? Yes, temperature. So the answer should be temperature. Okay, so I give you an example. Okay, so physical quantity, if some of you are still not sure, right? What is the physical quantity? What is the SI unit? What is the symbol? Okay, so let's say if I have the momentum, okay, so the symbol of momentum is P, right? And the unit is kg/ms -1. So this one, we call it as a physical quantity. Okay, so this one we call it as a physical quantity. This P is, we call it as a symbol. Okay, as a symbol. And this one we call it as a unit. Okay, so remember when you draw a graph, okay, when you draw a graph, so this part you must have a symbol and also a unit. So let's say the momentum P kg/ms -1. That's how you label the graph. Okay, so that is for question for A. Okay, let's see for B. State the accuracy of the infrared thermometer P. So you can see here the reading is 36.5. Okay, 36.5 degrees Celsius. So the accuracy, it means is the smallest scale. Okay, the smallest scale that the infrared can give. So what is the smallest scale here? What is the smallest scale here? 0.1. Yes. Okay, when you state 0.1, you must state with the unit also. So 0.1 degree Celsius. So the accuracy, or sometimes they say sensitivity. So accuracy, sometimes they use accuracy, sometimes they use sensitivity. So both of it is actually you have to find the smallest scale okay, for the measuring tool. So let's say if I have a vernier calipers. So you still remember Form 1 you learned about the vernier calipers, right? Okay, so what is the smallest scale for the vernier calipers? The smallest scale for the vernier calipers. Yeah, 0.01 cm. Very good. Okay, let's say for the micrometer screw gauge, what is the smallest scale? Yeah, 0.01 mm. So if you put only 0.01, it's wrong. Okay, so when you state about the accuracy, okay, you must put the unit. So it's actually like this. For paper 2, please put the unit for all the value or for all the physical quantity, put the unit. So they say if temperature degree Celsius, if the length you put meter or cm or mm, or if area you put the meter square, if a momentum you put kg ms -1, if a force you put a unit as newton. Okay, so for paper 2 you must have a unit. Okay. Alright, so let's move on to the next question. So based on diagram 1, which thermometer is more sensitive? So if you compare both P and Q, which one is the most more sensitive? P or Q? Q. Okay. So why Q? Why Q? Yeah, because after this you have to give reason why you put the answer as Q. 0.01 degrees. The smallest scale can be detected, can measure until 0.01 degrees Celsius. Okay, so the minimum value of the accuracy. So actually, the answer that you already given, okay, so the most accurate one is the one that given by Chia Kari. So it can measure until 0.01 degrees Celsius. So that's the correct answer. Okay, so can measure until 0.01 degrees Celsius. Okay, so this one is Q. So can measure until 0.01 degrees Celsius. Right, very good. So this one is actually for the chapter 1 question. Alright, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, number 1. So diagram 1 shows a velocity against time graph of a toy car. So what is the meaning by velocity? Okay, some of the meaning you can just directly use the formula. Okay, so let's say for the momentum. Okay, so the momentum is mass time velocity, right? So you just can put the meaning of the momentum, mass multiplied by velocity. Okay, but some of the formula, so let's say if they ask you, what is the meaning of force? Okay, so force, okay, some of you already know the formula to calculate force is F is equals to ma, right? But you cannot put like, what is force? Force is mass multiplied by acceleration. So you cannot use that one, right? So force is pull or push. That's the meaning of force, okay? Pull or push. Okay, so that's the meaning of force. So you cannot use the formula. So some of question you can, some of the question you cannot just directly use the formula. So what is the meaning of velocity? Velocity, so what is the formula of velocity? Velocity S over T, right? Yeah, rate of change of displacement. Okay, so remember I already said any formula that they use, alright, they divide with the time. Okay, they divide with the time. You must put the first word of the meaning is rate. Okay, rate of change. Okay, rate of change. Okay, so what is this? This is displacement. S is the displacement, right? So rate of change of displacement. Okay, so I show you another example. So let's say for this formula, this is for what? Physical quantity. What is the formula for this one? This one is used to calculate what? Impulsive force. Yes, very good. So you can see here they divide by time, right? So when you divide by time, you have to start with rate. So rate of, okay, so this one is actually the change of momentum, because you know that mv is the formula for the momentum. Mu is also actually the formula for momentum, but the first one, mv, they use the final velocity, and mu, they use the initial velocity. So that means there is a change, right? Change of momentum. The first one is the final one, and then minus with the initial one. So actually there is a change of momentum. So rate of change of momentum. So that's the meaning of the impulsive force. So anytime, anything, any formula, okay, any formula, yeah, you divide with t. So the meaning should start with rate. Rate of change of time. Or another one, we can use the example A is V minus U divided by T. So this is the acceleration formula, right? So let's say they ask you, what does it mean by acceleration? So rate of change of velocity. So anything that the formula divide with the time, the meaning you should start with the rate of something. Okay? So this one, ready answer, rate of change of displacement. Okay, for B, right? Based on diagram 1, tick right the correct answer in the box provided. Okay, so the car moved with the constant acceleration at PQ. Okay, and another one, they said that the car moved with the zero acceleration at PQ. So, if velocity against time. So, what the information that you can get from the velocity against time? There are two info that you can get from this graph. The first one is, what is the first one? Velocity. Yeah, the velocity. There are two info that you can get. Either if you velocity, you can just straight away see the graph and you straight away can get the velocity. But this one, you have to analyze, right? You have to analyze. Yes, the gradient is equals to the acceleration. Very good, Riken. So the gradient is actually equals to the acceleration. Right. And then another one, displacement. Very good, Joy. So displacement. So how you want to find the displacement from the graph of velocity? Yes, area under the graph. Okay, area under the graph. Okay, so let's see for the PQ. Okay, for PQ, you want to find the acceleration. And just now we can already answer the acceleration is the gradient. So when you see a gradient, I already told you, for the gradient, you have to draw the triangle. Okay, even in your paper 3 also, if I say gradient, you must draw the triangle, okay, on the graph. Right, so for this one, for PQ, can I draw a triangle on it? Can I draw the shape of triangle on PQ? No. So means if I cannot draw the triangles, means there is the gradient is 0, right? So when the gradient is 0, means the acceleration also should be 0. Okay? So the answer is 0 acceleration. So let's say the question asks you OP. So let's say I label here O. So OP. So how about this one? What is the acceleration? Constant acceleration. So how do you know it's a constant acceleration, or uniform also can? So let's say if I draw the triangle here. Okay. So when I draw the triangle here, you can see the size of triangle is same. Okay, until P. So the size of the triangle is same, means the gradient is same from O to P. So when the gradient is same, means the acceleration also same. But we didn't use same, we use a constant or uniform. So means uniform acceleration or constant acceleration. Okay, so that's how you want to find. So let's say this one is actually when you analyze. So let's say they ask you, find the value of the acceleration from O to P. So can you find for me the acceleration from O to P? Okay, so try to find the value of the acceleration from O to P. 0.5. Okay, there are two ways whether you straight away use the formula, the acceleration formula, v minus u divided by t, or you use the gradient formula. Okay, so I will show you both ways, right? So let's say the first one I use the formula a is equals to v minus u divided by t. Okay, so u is the initial velocity, that is 0. Okay, p is the final velocity, that is 2 meter per second. So 2 minus 0, okay, and then I divide with the time here. So from O to P, the time is 4 seconds. So 2 you divide by 4, you will get 0.5 ms negative 2. Okay, so don't forget the unit. Okay, so that's the when you use the formula. So let's say if I don't want to use the formula, I'm using the gradient formula. Okay, so when you use the gradient formula, so this one O, the coordinate is 0 0, right? And this one the coordinate is 4 2. Okay, so 4 2. Okay, so I just use the formula for the gradient y2 minus y1 divide by x2 minus x1. Okay, so let's say I'm label this one x1, y1. Okay, and this one I label with x2, y2. So 2 minus 0 divide by 4 minus 0, right? So you still can get the same answer. Okay, so 0.5 ms negative 2. So that's the example if the question asks you to find the acceleration, okay, from O to P. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Calculate the distance traveled by the toy car. Okay, so means you have to calculate. So just now, Weekend and someone answered, I think, who answered that one? Wait, I find the person here. So Weekend and another one, yes, Joey. Okay, Weekend and Joey already said the displacement is actually is equals to area under the graph. Teacher, but the question asking the distance, not the displacement. So what's the difference between distance and displacement? What's the difference between distance and displacement? Distance has no direction, yes. Why displacement? Yeah, displacement must have a direction and also the magnitude. Okay, so later I will show you two examples. Okay, one example. Okay, what's the difference between the distance and displacement? Okay, when you calculate the value. So for distance, this one is distance because they don't have a negative side. Means the object is travel in one direction only. Okay, so they don't have the negative side, so it's okay. So let's say you want to find the distance, so you just find the area under the graph. Okay, so if you are good, you know how to use the trapezium formula, you can straight away use the trapezium formula. Okay, from here, this side. Okay, so this is trapezium. Or if you are not good in using the trapezium formula, you can divide into two. The first one is the triangle and the second one is the rectangle. Okay, so for me, I will use A and B. Okay, so I divide it into sections. So for A is actually the triangle, half times. So what is the base here? Is 4, right? And the height is 2. So half times 4 times 2. Okay, so you will get 4. Okay, for B, the rectangle is, okay, so this is 8 minus 4. So this one you will get 4. Okay, and this side the height is 2. So 4 times 2. So you will get 8. So and then you just have to, okay, add this 2, 4 plus 8, sorry. So this one you will get 12 meter, not 12 cm. 12 meter. Okay, so that's the answer. Okay, so I just tell you just now. Okay, so let's say I have another graph. Okay, I have another graph. Okay, and the graph is like this. Okay, wait for a moment. So let's say this is 10. Let's say this is 5. And let's say this is 10. This is negative 5. Okay, and for this one is 12, and this one is 14. Okay, so this is graph velocity against time, right? So my question is, I want you to find displacement, and my second question is, I want you to find distance. Okay, so try to find first. So let's see whether you can figure out what is the between the displacement and distance for this question. Okay, maybe I divide in the two part. This is A and this is B part. Okay. Displacement is 95. Okay. Distance is 105. Okay. Any other answer? Distance, displacement 80, distance 90. Okay. Others? Can see there are two different answers here. Same. So, Lashmi, you're same with who? Okay, Astron can. Okay. Displacement 80, distance 90. Okay, so most of you, I think, got the same answer. Hai also. Sorry, teacher, got wrong answer. It's okay. That's why I do this class, so you know. Right? It's okay. Right, so let's say, okay, let's check whether your answer is correct or not. Okay, displacement. So displacement you already know that actually it has to consider the direction. So direction, how you want to say whether the direction is to the left or to the right? You put the negative or positive sign, right? Okay, so means for displacement you have to consider the negative and the positive signs. Okay, but for distance you don't need to consider the direction, okay, the object goes, right? So you just use the value, the magnitude, because the distance is a scalar. It only consider the magnitude, not the direction. Okay, so for displacement, so for A, right? So I use the formula of trapezium. Okay, half times with the 12. Okay, 12 times plus 5, right? And you have to divide times with the height, that is 5 here. Okay, so 70, 17, this is 85, right? Okay, so that is for A. Right, for B, The triangle half times with the base here there is 2, okay, and the height is -5. So you got -5. So then you add both of it, you get 80 meter. Okay, so this is displacement. So how about the distance? So the distance for A, same, I get 85. Okay, only the difference B. Because B, we don't consider the -1. So means 2 times 5. So you will get 5, right? So 85 plus 5, you will get 90 meter. Okay, so that's the difference between displacement and distance. Displacement must include the negative sign, and while the distance, you just ignore the negative sign and just calculate, then you add. Okay, these two areas. Alright, okay. So any question you want to ask okay, about the distance and displacement? So are you clear? Before I move on to the next one. Okay, number 9. Okay, so you have to remember for structure for paper 2, for section A, okay, for section A, you will get 8 questions. Okay, see this one, you have to answer all of it. Okay, number 1 and number 8, you have to answer all of it, and you have to put, you have to answer in the question paper. Okay, for section B, right? For section B, question number 9 and 10, right? So number 9 is a form 4 question in SPM. Okay, in SPM for question number 9 is a form 4 question, and number 10 is form 5 question. Okay, and number 3 there is a section C. Okay, section C is question number 11. This one can be from form 4 or form 5. So we are not sure about that. Okay, so this is the question that you need to answer for paper 2. And section B, you can choose whether you want to answer question number 9 or question number 10. It's up to you. You can choose one. Okay, but for section C, you have to answer all of it because only one question. So you have to answer this one. Okay, there's no choice for you to choose. Okay, it's different from the format for this year, right? For the last year, 2020, they give you to choose, right, for section C. But starting from KSSM, so you are not allowed to choose. For section C, there's only one question you have to answer. And for this part, section B and section C, you must answer in the test pack. Okay, you cannot answer in the question paper because later in exam, the question paper, okay, for question number 9, 10 and 11, they will give you back. Okay, so you can go back to bring it to your home. But for so that's why you have to answer in the test pack. Okay, so make sure all the answer you put in the test pack. Okay, so that's one is for your real exam for SPM, but for school, we'll collect all the answer, all the question paper. Okay, so section B and C also we will collect only for the SPM, for the real one, right? Okay, so for section B, 20 marks, section C, 20 marks, so 40 marks, and section A, 60 marks. So total is 100. And some of you ask, teacher, how if I want to get A? Okay, what is the mark that I should get for paper 2? Okay, for you to get an A, at least you must like 75 above. Okay, 75 above if you want to get A. Okay, why I say A is A minus because you just got A minus, A and A plus, right? So 75 above. Okay, for you if you want to score for A minus, A or A plus. Okay, so this is for paper 2. So for this one, question number 9. So question number 9 is actually from section B. Okay, and this is form 4 question. So I choose this one. This is for chapter 2. Okay, actually still for the draft. So for A1, what is the meaning of velocity? Right. So some of you I noticed, right, there's already start to put the answer in the point form. Okay, like I told you before. But some of you still want to answer in the essay like an essay like you do the karangan. Okay, so no, please. Okay, please answer in the point form. Okay, we are not learning bahasa Melayu or bahasa no. Okay, put in the point form. So let's say this is your test bed. Okay, so let's say this is your test bed. So how you want to answer? You put 9A1. So what does it mean by velocity? You put the answer rate of change of displacement. Okay, right. So that's the answer for this one. Okay, this one because already discussed just now. Okay, yeah. So this one you have to start to compare. I notice when you compare the velocity, some of you put big velocity, small velocity. Don't use big or small because big or small is actually when you compare the size. Let's say the size of the balloon. Okay, you say a big size of balloon, small size of balloon. So when you compare the magnitude, you use the word higher or lower. Okay, so for this one, using the diagram 9.1, compare the velocity of bus A and bus B in the first hour. Okay, so for the first hour, let's compare the velocity. So which has a higher velocity? Which has a higher velocity? A or B? Okay, bus A. So how you want to answer? Okay, so you put like this. Okay, this one is B1, right? B1, no, A2. So A2, so you put like this. A2, the first mark is velocity of A is higher. Right like that. Velocity of A is higher or velocity of bus A is higher. Okay, so next you go to the next one. Okay, so the next one they ask you to compare what? They ask you to compare the gradient. So the gradient, which one is have more gradient, bus A or bus B? Okay, bus A or bus B? Bus A. So you have to say right, okay, gradient for bus A is higher. So that's point number 2. Okay. And then we go to the another one. What else? Compare the area under the graph. So how about the area under the graph? Which one is higher? The area under the graph. The area under the graph, which one is higher? A or B? Yeah, still A. Right. So you put the answer here. Area under the graph. Area under the graph for bus A is higher. Okay. So you see the question. So now you have to state the relationship between the velocity and the acceleration. So when you said about the relationship, okay, so please use like higher, 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 lower. So example like the higher the velocity, the higher the acceleration, like that. The lower the velocity, the lower the acceleration. Okay, or maybe right, the higher the acceleration, the lower the higher the velocity, the higher the acceleration. So that's the example how you want to answer. Okay. So what's the answer for this one? What's the answer for this one? What is the relationship between the acceleration and the velocity? Okay, so I just give the answer. The higher the velocity, yes, the higher the velocity, the higher the acceleration. Okay. Okay, and then another one they ask you to deduce, right? Deduce the type of motion during the last 2 hours of travel. So last 2 hours of travel means like from 3 to 5. So what can you deduce from here? What can you see about the velocity? What you can see the velocity? Yes, constant velocity, or you can say it. What acceleration? Constant or zero acceleration. Yes, very good. So from 3 hours, okay, from last 2 hours, right? Okay, from last 2 hours, okay, the acceleration is zero. So you can see here, there are 5 marks here, right? There are 5 marks here. So 5 marks here means you can see when you answer every point, 1 point for 1 mark. So it's easy for the teacher to see your answer, and of course, okay, your work will be neat. Okay. So 5 answer. Okay. Teacher, is it compulsory that 1.1 answer? They say for this one, it's always have 5 points. So they say for the question that you have to explain, the explanation question. So it's 4 marks, right? But you want to explain, more than 4 points. It's okay. But every point that you explain, you put it in the point form. Okay? It doesn't matter like 4 points for, no. Let's say for the explanation, you can put more than 4 points. So let's say the 4 marks, right? It's 4 marks, you can put more than 4. Okay, this is actually for teacher to know that, oh, this one is actually 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. Okay. Okay, any question you want to ask teacher before I move to the next question? So are you clear? No. Right. So how about B? So I give you like 3 minutes, okay, for you to find the answer. Okay, to find the answer. Then when I give you answer, you can check whether how many points that you can get right. Okay, so try to answer for this one. This one is easy. You just need to explain the type of motions and also what is the total displacement. Sorry. Sorry. If any question, you can just ask in the chat room. You can just open your mic. Do not feel it's. Or maybe you have a suggestion, like teacher, please do more exercise about this topic. Okay, you can request to me. I'm sorry. Can like monitor for each class, right? Can you check the attendance? So I will use this one, like also for your PVD. Okay, for your this attendance for your PVD. So please check. I just want the name of people who didn't join. Okay. Right, 1 more minute. And one more thing, when we enter chapter 4, okay, I will explain to you about the project because you have a project for PVD, okay, for physics project. So I will tell you more when you already enter chapter 4. Alright, so let's see the answer. Okay, so read the question. Diagram 9.2 shows a graph for displacement against time for a car with passenger on board. So this is a displacement against time. Right, from the graph, explain the type of motion of the car throughout the journey. Okay, so what is the total displacement travel? Okay, so you can see there are, you can divide it into 3 parts, right? So the first part is from 0 to 3 hours, and then 3 to 5 hours, and another one is 5 to 8 hours. Okay, so this one you already can see there are 3 points that you can put, you can describe. And another point is actually come from the total displacement. Okay, so the first one, so I put the answer here. Okay, so how you want to answer for this one? Can I just say that from the first part, the velocity is constant. Okay, so you have to describe the time. Okay, so means from 0, okay, to 3 hours. Okay, the velocity is constant. Okay, 1 mark. Okay, and then from 3 to 5 hours, 3 to 5 hours, the velocity is 0. Or you can put it's not moving. Okay, it's at rest. Okay, velocity 0 means the object is at rest. Also can, right? And another one, okay, from 5 to 8 hours. Okay, so the velocity is constant, but in opposite direction. Yes, very good. Okay, so these 3 points means you already got 3 marks. So and then another one, how about the total displacement? So you can see the total displacement is back. So means at the 8 hours after that, we come back to the initial position. Okay, so means the total displacement is 0. Displacement is 0. Okay, so 4 points. So who got all 4 correct? This one must have opposite direction. If you don't have this one, it's wrong. Anyone got 4 marks for this question? This is the explanation part. But this one is easy because they don't ask you to explain the application or something. Okay, the question is, let's say for the another part, they ask you to explain the phenomenon. They say, how does the sea breeze occur? So that one you have to explain in the words, right? So this one you just analyze the graph. Okay, so who got 4 marks? No one. None of you got 4 marks. So it's okay. So let's see for the C part. Okay, for the C part, you have to modify, right? So diagram 9.3 shows an old bicycle. So you are required to modify the design in diagram 9.3 so that the bicycle can be used in a mountain bike challenge 2017. So state and explain the modification based on the following aspect. So you are lucky for this one, 2000, starting from 2018, I think, didn't give you this one. We are not giving you this one anymore. So what you have to do, you have to think on your own. What can you do to modify the bicycle? Okay, so for this one, since you just begin a beginner's level, okay, so I will provide to you the characteristic that you need to do. Okay, so what you have to modify for this question, please answer on table. Okay, because when I do the test with the 4M, only like half of you answer it on table, right? Even like I already told you, please do it on table. So some of you still do it like an essay, and they answer it in wrong way. Okay, so never mind. Okay, so let's try to do answer it in the table. So put two column. Okay, put two column like this. Okay, so you put the title here, characteristic. Teacher, there's a thunderstorm. I have to, yeah. Mine also. So maybe you can watch later in the YouTube. I put the record in the YouTube. For those who are having the thunderstorm, okay, you can quit. It's okay, I understand. Right, characteristic. Thank you for joining. Okay, explanation. Right. So for the characteristic, the first one, the system to assist in climbing. So if you have a bicycle, right? So let's say you want to do hiking, right? So let's say you want to climb using your bike. What usually your bike should have? What usually your bicycle should have, you think, to assist you? So that's not, yes, very good gear. So you must have a gear. So have gear. Okay, so the explanation why you have to have a gear. Why you have to have a gear? Why you have to have a gear? Okay, can I say to assist in climbing? You cannot use the question. You cannot use the sentence in the question as your answer. Okay, so means you have to find something else. Okay, so the explanation is easy to climb, or you can say save energy. If you don't have gear, it means you have to cycle, right? Very hard, right? Get to the top of the mountain. So you save the energy. So have a gear just to save the energy. Okay, so that is for the first characteristic. So how about the material for the frame? Okay, when you say about the material, please don't put the name of the material. Let's say aluminium, steel, okay? Or let's say you put iron, okay? Don't put the name of the material. Never ever put the name of the material. Put the characteristic of the material that you choose. Let's say if I said steel, okay? Why I choose steel? Because it's not easy to get rust, right? So you put the characteristic, okay, as your the characteristic of the material that you choose as the characteristic in the table here. Don't put the name of the material. So we can lightweight and strong. Okay, so that one you can divide into two characteristics. Okay, so I put here, so we can you answer lightweight, right? So light is the explanation. Okay, lightweight is the explanation. Okay, so for the characteristic, you refer back to the formula of the density. Right, it's the formula for the density, mass divided by volume, right? So when you answer lightweight is mean the mass is decreasing. That's why it's light, right? So light, and if the mass is decreasing, the density also should be decreased. So for the characteristic, you put it as a low density. So low density, lightweight. So even like you want to describe the mass is light, you put the characteristic as the low density and the lightweight is the explanation. Okay, so let's say if I want something that one have to be heavy, so I put high density for the characteristic, the explanation, so you have the heavier mass like that. Okay, and low density, lightweight. Okay, very good. And we can say is strong. Okay, so strong also can be used as the characteristic. So why you want it to be strong? So when it's strong, it can long lasting. Yeah, last longer, long lasting. Okay, so that's the answer for now. You already there. You can see here 10 marks, right? So 10 marks mean 5 characteristic. Teacher, if I want to give more than 5, yes, just give. They will not minus the one that wrong. They will only choose the right one. Okay, so now I already got 3, right? Now another one, the tires. So how about the tires? How about the weight of the tires? Is it a small, is it a very small area or large area of the tires? Why large? Why you need to have a large area of the tires? Better stability, so it will be easily to stop. Have you seen the people that when they goes, you know, like racing, bicycle racing, alright, bicycle racing. So usually you can see the tire. Is it white? Is it white? No, it's not white, because if you increase the surface area, there's a one force that will increase, that will slow down the bicycle. What is that? Yeah, so that's why they cannot have the large surface area. So they must have the low surface area to decrease the friction force. Okay. Yeah, I know about the stability, but this one, bicycle, if you want to increase the stability, you add 2 more wheel at the back, so it will be more stable. For this one, racing. So racing means you have to move faster. Okay, so you have to move faster. So every you want to move faster, you have to decrease the frictional force. So it can increase the velocity, right? Increase the acceleration. So this one has a small, okay, area of tire. Reason? Reduce frictional force. Okay. And someone I said better grip, right? Grip is actually not correct, not accurate. Okay, that one is not for the grip. Okay, grip is actually like for shoes, yes, to increase the grip. Okay, so now you can see you already got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need another one. Okay, so we need another one. What is it? Any idea? So others mean anything that you can say that the bicycle can have or bicycle should have. Your brakes, yeah, should have the brakes. Should have a disc brake. Okay, so it's easier to stop. Okay, and must have what? Must have a light bulb, right? See, a light bulb. So I put up here. Okay, there's no space below there. Light bulb. Okay, so this one to brighten. Okay, to brighten the trail during night. Okay, and another one should have a horn, right? Have the horn to give warning. Okay, to give warning, or let's say for emergency, right? They can use the horn. Okay, so there's more than 10, sorry, there's more than 5, right? So we already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we already give like 6. Okay, so if all correct, the maximum marks that you can get is 10. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, some of you must ask, teacher, they say my characteristic is correct, but my explanation is wrong. Can I still get the mark? Yes. So let's say you give the characteristic have gear, correct? But your explanation is wrong, you can still have the mark for the gear, 1 mark. Okay? But for explanation, teacher, if my explanation is correct, but my characteristic is wrong, never mind, you can still have 1 mark. Okay? Then is there there are not dependable between each other. Means they are independent. So let's say 1 wrong, 1 correct, you still can get mark. Right? So just give as much as you think you can give, but make sure it's not like opposite. Like the first time you saw low density, right? Lightweight. Then below you put high density, higher mass. That one is wrong lah, because it's a contradict. Okay, between each other. Okay, so any question you want to ask before I stop here? And this one we continue on next 2 weeks. Okay, you try to answer first. They say if you want any question you want to ask, you can text me. Any question you want to ask? Are you clear? Is it okay? Alright. So thank you, okay, for joining the class. Right. So I see you in 2 weeks. Okay. So have a good holiday. Okay. Don't forget, even this holiday, have to study. Right. Okay. So thank you. Okay. Bye. Bye.
Thank you, teacher. Selamat Hari Raya.
Alright. Thank you.
Selamat Hari Raya.
Selamat Raya. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, teacher.
Welcome. Selamat Raya. Thank you.